Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1302. 1303. Now we're at 1303, and I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today we have Bison Bentley, Madame Rootabega, Valentino, plus we'll get to the segment News Random. And did you have a good weekend? Good, that's great. Now we can
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Put the green away for another year. And have you ever woken up
Mike's Daily Podcast
in the middle of the night? I go walking in my sleep. Now, in the middle of the night, I had a Charlie horse. Man, that did not feel good, of course. It was very painful, and the problem was the sheets. They kept pushing down my feet, and my feet was locked in a way that was causing my calf.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
My calf to explode is what it did to me.
Mike's
Don't you know?
Daily
Last show,
Podcast.
I forgot to put in the intro to the word of dog when I was doing my whole word of dog thing. So let's see if I can remember it this time.
The word of dog.
You know, your dog really does need to go on walks. But lately, if your dog is walking in an area that they can be off leash, and there are droppings from other animals, such as the aforementioned cows or horses or whatnot, make sure they don't eat it. I had talked to another dog owner who said that their vet told them that it's really, really bad this season. I don't know, because of all the extra grass or whatever. There's something the bacteria is getting is at a high level. Sometimes the dogs can pass it through them and be okay, but now not so much. So that may have been what happened to Basil last week. He's doing much better. He was so perky. He still has an issue where he can't open his jaw all the way. I watch him. At one point when he was really sick, he could barely open his mouth. And now he can kind of open his mouth, but like he tries to give a big yawn and he can't do it. He's kind of like, it only goes about halfway. So look who just walked in. Just now. Hello, my commander. It's Madame Rootabega. I once had a roommate with a locked jaw. Ooh. A roommate with a locked jaw? Yes, my commander. His name was Jim, and he used to go roller skating a lot. This is in the 70s when roller skating was so much fun. Oh, Xanadu. That's right, there was Xanadu. It was all about roller skating. Yeah, and he fell on his face, broke his jaw. He broke his jaw, huh? Everything he ate had to be put to a blender. I know. Ooh. We fell in love and got married. Well, that's beautiful. You know, your love story, so many love stories that you tell us here at Café Anyway. It might as well be Valentine's Day. But it's no longer St. Patrick's Day. The next big holiday is Easter. Or is it Tax Day? I forget. Look who else just walked in.
Oh, day, Mike. It's Valentino, the banking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't trust Megan Kelly at all, day.
Yeah, we don't like Megan Kelly. And we're going to make a third party. Do you know that? A third party. That's why do you guys have the issue with Megyn Kelly? Why do a lot of conservatives have issues with Megyn Kelly? Oh, Megyn Kelly. At one time she was the one that said some really crazy conservative stuff like, oh, everybody's saying happy holidays. That's a conspiracy against Christmas. Because Christmas has Christ in the name, and nobody wants to say that anymore because we're becoming such a secular society. And and now people are like, oh, Megyn Kelly, she was giving Trump a lot of grief in the debates, and every time she interviews him, she's really mean to him, so she's bad. How quickly the conservatives turn, don't they? Poor Megyn Kelly with her awesome haircut. Well, maybe the conservatives will go back and remember something beyond 2017 and remember the years when she was on Fox News and the big conservative talk show host. But Mike, she never really was. Oh, shut up. You know what the thing is I'm noticing, guys, as we do sort of this cultural observation thing on this show, is you ever hear that song by The Police, King of Pain? I know some of you millennials have like no idea who a lot of the 80s people are, and I understand that. Chuck Berry died over the weekend. And yes, I'm a fan of all music. I love a lot of Chuck Berry stuff, but I do have to admit to you, I'm not the biggest fan of 50s music. And when I hear anything like that sounds like it would come from a car hop or an old Arnold's on Happy Days playing in the background, I'm like, I can only drink so much shake. I can only eat so many burgers made by Al. I'm not a big fan of American Graffiti. I'm just not. That Wolfman Jack, great DJ, greatest DJ of all time, but no, I'm not a fan. I mean, the music, I don't hate the music, but I'm just not the biggest. So Chuck Berry, yeah, I understand though that music, the way I feel about that music, I can see is the way millennials feel about 80s music.
And here's today's podcast picture.
You say Depeche Mode, you say Human League, you say Pet Shop Boys, you say the Police. They go, what? Huh? Who? Oh, that's music that they play in every CVS, every Rite Aid, every Walgreens, every Walmart on the planet. You hear that music playing. I understand. The podcast picture today is of Half Moon Bay. That's actually the day that when Basil was the last time he was doing really, really good, and then the next day is when his health just declined horribly. But like I said, it's back to normal, so good news there. But you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. Basil's not in this picture. Sorry, Basil. But yes, I'm in this picture, and it's Half Moon Bay and whatever, if you want to see what I look like. Café whatever. I mean, Café Anyway. Anyway.
Well, it's not my fault.
So, back to that opening xylophone that you hear at the beginning of King of Pain. You hear the dun 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 dun, and you hear the little key, the xylophone going gong 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 gong. There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday. I stood here before inside the pouring rain. Thank you.
Mike, that was really beautiful.
Disgruntled Fiddle Player's here, everybody. Wow. You just came in.
Yeah, I walked in with my mariachi band.
Oh. I didn't know you had a mariachi band.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, well, thank y'all. I'm trying, you talked to me about diversity and whatnot last show, so I think I should start a mariachi band. I like the hats they wear.
Okay, Disgruntled Fiddle Player, good luck with the mariachi band. What instrument are you playing in it?
I'm playing the
Excellent.
the horns.
You're playing all the horns?
Yeah, I'm doing the horn.
That was beautiful. You were doing the horn and talking to me simultaneously. Did you do the xylophone in it?
There's a little black spot on sun today.
That would be an awesome country song. Do a country version of King of Pain.
I've stood here before inside the pouring rain.
That sounded wonderful. Once again, you're such a talent.
Dang, man. Tell you what.
What?
No, it's about it.
Well, what happened was, the xylophone sound has gotten big in popular music. For example, that Don't Wanna Know, No, No, No. You have that Maroon 5 song that goes dun, 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 dun. I want to know, no. And Shawn Mendes does that. I know I can treat you better. It goes that I would lie to you, and it has a dun. I know I can treat you better than he can. And then that Ed Sheeran one, I'm in love with the shape of you. Dun, 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 dun. It has that same keyboard. And then finally, the big one. Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday. It won't be long. It says dun, 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 dun. Did you notice that, Disgruntled Fiddle Player?
Well, I don't need hollow thrills and get on tonight.
Well, cheap thrills.
Dog, baby, dog's alive, and that's good tonight.
Oh, cheap thrills.
I don't need no money as long as I keep dancing with my wife's horse, Nelly.
Thanks, Nelly. So, yeah, check that out. The keyboard going on. I mean, the xylophone. Well, it's probably a keyboard synthesizer effect, but a lot of the dun, 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 the quick little notes. Keeping with the beat. Making some funky tunes. And are we done? Charlie horses, xylophones, Megyn Kelly. We've had an interesting day today. All right, well, we'll get to the segment News Random, as we've had a very random show. Help out the show, though, through Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Go there, click on the, whatever you call it, the thing. God, Neil Gorsuch's wife is lovely. How did that happen? Yeah, Neil, that's a big thing this week. Neil Gorsuch. It's going to be a Gorsuch kind of week, my friend. Get ready. It's all about the Gorsuch and his lovely wife. So, yeah, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. You can call the show at 336-MM-DAILY. That's my number here at Café Anyway. If I don't answer it, there will be a machine that will pick up. That the Disgruntled Fiddle Player actually put the greeting on, didn't you?
Yeah, I just say the name of the station.
Of the station?
The place where we're at.
Café Anyway.
Yeah, Café Anyway. Tell you what.
What?
Didn't y'all have a thing you wanted to do right now?
Oh, yeah. You can email me, too, Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com, which leads us to the segment.
Oh, my God.
Email for me now. And your calm. And not so calm mess.
Yesterday, I was doing Country Crossroads Radio, which you can hear at countrycrossroadsradio.com. And if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, it's at AM 1680. And a guy named Brian emailed me, and he said, "Hi, Mike. Great show this weekend. Glad to hear that your dog is okay." Isn't that nice? What a nice guy. He said, "P.S. This is Brian from Toronto, and I'll be listening next weekend." Listening all the way in Toronto. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, if you also want to help out the show through the Amazon link, click on that Amazon link at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Bookmark it, too. Whenever you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through that bookmark, and that helps us out. You can also donate through the PayPal. You'll get a special personalized MP3 for thee from all the Café Anyway characters, and you'll become a Mike's Daily podcaster. There's also all the past interviews. Now, I have to warn you, so we're having a technical issue with the interviews from 2011 to 2012. Way back, because that was on a server that I just found out is gone. So I have to re-upload all those interviews. So you can go to the interviews page and look around, but you just can't hear any of them yet. I'll have that up over the next sometime this year. Working on that right now. And some of the interviews in the cubbyhole, the cassette cubbyhole, some of the country artists from my past years working at K-Hay. You can hear some of those. Some of those are there, some of them are not. But check it out at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. And now News Random.
News Random.
The Chancellor of Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel. Trump was sitting next to her. Of course, later on he would say that Trump owes us money. But Trump On Friday, he was at the White House, and he said to Angela Merkel, "At least we have something in common."
This is a fine-tuned machine. I know what's good and bad. I know what's good and bad.
Sounds like Joe Pesci there. Really does.
I know what's good and bad. I won.
Yeah, and and he loves those WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks! I love WikiLeaks!
Well, apparently, though, there have been leaks, with Trump, and he says his phone was tapped. He was comparing himself to a foreign leader whose cell phone calls had been intercepted by the NSA. Remember when that happened? Angela Merkel? When it had come out that when Snowden released all the info, did his data dump? He was doubling down once again on his much disputed claim that his calls too had been wiretapped on orders of Barack Obama. This according to the New York Times. It was the latest in a series of extraordinary statements in which Mr. Trump, with awkward support from his aides, took an unusual stance for an American commander-in-chief. He spoke not as the boss of the intelligence agencies, but as their victim. Let that wash over you, how odd that really is, that a president would act like that. Never has that happened before. Even if his wiretap claim was groundless, as seems all but certain, it has unexpectedly renewed a debate on the left as well as the right over whether security agencies invade Americans' privacy and could undermine democracy. Whether the president intended such a discussion or even welcomed it, his repeated undercutting of the spy agencies has been striking. Shortly before taking office, he infuriated intelligence officials by comparing their agencies to Nazi Germany. In February, he suggested that intelligence leaks were just like Russia. His aides, with his encouragement, have pushed the idea that the deep state of security agencies sought to undermine his presidency. If such charges were previously unseen in the history of the American presidency, so were the circumstances in which Mr. Trump took office. In a public report before his inauguration, the intelligence agencies concluded that Russian hacking and disinformation were intended to help him defeat Hillary Clinton. He bitterly resisted the claim, which cast a shadow of doubt over the legitimacy of his victory. All those tensions are going to be in the air today when the leaders of the FBI, James B. Comey, and National Security Agency Administrator Michael S. Rogers testify before the House Intelligence Committee. Mr. Trump's wiretap accusations are certain to come up. And then who said over the weekend there was the Republican from California that said that there's no grounds to believe that the wiretapping of Trump Towers happened. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I'm wrapping the show up today in a little bow. I hope you like this bow. As I bow to you and thank you for listening to the first show of this week. And not the last week of March. We got one more next week. But yes, thank you for listening, and make sure to tip your waiters and, I don't know, read a Megyn Kelly book. Maybe say hi to your Charlie horse. Give your Charlie horse some hay. I'm making all kinds of sense now. You're welcome. Oh, yes, and happy first day of spring. How could I have forgotten? Yes, the Equinox. That's right. It's the Equinox, and the spring equinox. When night and day are equal.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!